There are moments in life that arrive without warning. No trumpet, no sign. Just a Tuesday afternoon in a small-town veterinary clinic in rural Tennessee. Antiseptic and old linoleum and the faint sweetness of dog biscuits kept in a mason jar on the front desk. The dog came in on a leash held by a stranger. He was old now. You could see it in the white that had crept across his muzzle like the first frost of November. Slow, quiet, unstoppable. His coat, once the color of autumn honey, had thinned at the shoulders. He moved the way old things move, carefully, like he was carrying something heavy inside him that nobody else could see. The woman at the front desk knelt down the way people do when a dog earns it without asking. She let him sniff her hand. He did. Then he looked up at her with those old, patient eyes, and something in her chest shifted in a way she couldn't name. She stood up. She reached for the scanner. Routine, just a wand passed along the back of the neck, just a chip, just a number. Except the number pulled up a name. And when she saw that name on the screen, the registered owner, the date, the original address, her hand stopped moving. The color left her face. She looked at the dog, then back at the screen. Then she picked up the phone. She didn't say much, just 4 words. You need to come. And somewhere, 63 miles away, a life that had never fully healed was about to crack open all over again. What was on that screen? Stay right there because what happens next is something you will never forget. It was a Saturday in October. Walter remembers the date the way you remember the dates that split your life into before and after. October 14th. Cool enough for a jacket. The kind of Tennessee evening where wood smoke drifts across the road and the whole world smells like something ending. He'd left Sonny in the backyard, just for an hour, maybe less. He'd driven to the hardware store for weather stripping, the kind of ordinary errand a man does without thinking, because why would he think about it? The gate was latched, the fence was solid. Sonny had been in that yard 1,000 times. When Walter came home, the gate was open. Not broken, not forced, open. He'd always told himself it was his fault, that he hadn't latched it properly, that Sonny pushed through somehow, like young dogs will when a scent catches their nose and the whole world becomes just that one thing they have to follow. He told himself that for 12 years. But there was a neighbor boy back then, 17 years old, lived 3 houses down. Walter had caught him once standing at the fence, feeding Sonny something through the slats. Walter had thought it was kind, had waved, had never thought another thing about it. That neighbor boy moved away 2 weeks after Sonny disappeared. No goodbye, no forwarding address, just gone. The way Sonny was gone? Walter never connected those 2 things, not once. Not in 12 years, but somebody else did. The truth about that October night had been sitting in a box in another state, and what was inside that box is about to destroy everything Walter thought he knew. His name was Derek Pollard, 42 years old, lived outside Murfreesboro in a single-wide trailer with a rusted truck in the driveway, and a conscience that had been eating him alive for the better part of a decade. He'd been 17 when he did it, thought it was funny, the way cruel boys sometimes think things are funny before life teaches them the cost. He'd taken Sonny on a dare, his older brother's idea, loaded him into a pickup truck, driven 3 counties over, and sold him to a man outside Sparta for $200 cash. $200. He'd spent it on nothing he could even remember now. But he remembered Sonny, always. The way the dog had trusted him completely, had jumped into that truck with his tail going, because golden retrievers believe in people, even when people don't deserve it. Derek had found God at 30, found a wife at 32, lost her at 38. And somewhere in that grief, alone in a house that echoed, he'd started writing things down. Things he'd done, things he owed. Sonny was at the top of the list. He didn't know if the dog was alive, didn't know where he'd ended up, but he remembered the name on that mailbox, Greer. And he drove to Birchwood Road one Thursday morning and sat outside Walter's house for 40 minutes before he finally knocked. Walter answered the door in garden gloves. Derek couldn't even look at him at first. He just held out the box. Inside, a collar, orange, small. The one Sonny had been wearing that October night. Walter's knees nearly went. If this story is reaching something inside you, subscribe, like, and drop a comment. And don't you dare go anywhere, because what happens next will stay with you forever. Walter stood at his front door for a long time. He didn't invite Derek in right away, just stood there holding that little orange collar in both hands, the way you'd hold something sacred, something broken. The metal buckle had gone brown with age. The name tag was still there, Sonny, stamped into the brass. And below it, Walter's own phone number, the landline he'd kept all these years, even when everyone told him to get rid of it. He'd kept it because some part of him was still waiting for a call. Derek talked for a long time on that porch. His voice broke twice. He was a man carrying 12 years of something that had no name except wrong, and he laid all of it down on Walter's front steps like a man emptying his pockets before he walks into the water. Walter listened. He didn't yell. That surprised Derek. That surprised Walter, too. When Derek finished, Walter looked out at the yard, at the gate, still the same gate, still the same latch. Then he asked the only question that mattered. Where did he go after that man in Sparta? Derek shook his head. He didn't know. The trail ended at $200 and a stranger's truck. Walter nodded, looked down at the collar. He thanked Derek, quietly, the way people thank someone after a funeral. Then he went inside, sat at the kitchen table, and held that orange collar against his chest and didn't move for a very long time. He didn't know that 60 miles away, an old golden dog was already on his way to a veterinary clinic, and that the phone on Walter's kitchen wall was about to ring. The call was coming, but what they were about to say, Walter could never have prepared for. The phone rang at 4:17 in the afternoon. Walter was still at the kitchen table. The collar was still in his hands. The coffee he'd made an hour ago had gone cold. He almost didn't answer. He picked up on the fourth ring, said hello the way tired men do, quiet, expecting nothing. The young woman on the other end worked at a veterinary clinic in Crossville. Her name was Beth. She had a careful voice, the kind people use when they're carrying news that has weight to it and they know it. She asked if he was Walter Greer. He said he was. She asked if he had ever owned a golden retriever named Sonny, microchipped in March of 2009, registered to this number, this address. Walter's hand tightened on the receiver. He said yes, real slow, like the word cost him something. Beth paused. He could hear her breathing, and then, faintly in the background, a sound. A dog, moving, nails on a hard floor. She said, "Mr. Greer, I need you to know I've been doing this job for 16 years, and I have never made a call like this one." A man had brought in an older golden retriever that afternoon. Stray, he'd said, found wandering a rural road outside Crossville. No tags, thin, tired, but so gentle that every person in that clinic had stopped what they were doing just to be near him. When they scanned him, the chip number came back. It came back to Sonny, to Walter, to 2009. Walter pressed his hand flat against the kitchen table to keep himself steady. He hadn't said a word yet, but what he said next and what happened the moment he walked through that clinic door will break you wide open. He drove too fast, and he knew it, didn't stop for his jacket, didn't leave a note, just grabbed his peas from the hook by the door. The hook Margaret had put there in 1984 because Walter could never remember where he left things, and he was in the truck before he'd even decided to move. The October light was going golden and low across the hills, the kind of light that makes Tennessee look like a painting. Walter didn't see any of it. He just drove, both hands on the wheel, jaw set, eyes wet in a way he hadn't let them be in a very long time. He talked out loud the whole way there, to Margaret mostly, the way he did sometimes when things got to be too much for one person to carry alone. He told her about Derek that morning, about the collar, about the phone call. His voice cracked somewhere around the Sparta exit, and he just let it crack. There was nobody to hold it together for. He pulled into the clinic parking lot at 5:41 p.m., sat in the truck for a moment, hands still on the wheel. Inside that small building, behind that door, there was either a miracle or a heartbreak, and at 71 years old, Walter Greer had been through enough of both to know you couldn't always tell them apart until you were already inside them. He got out of the truck. He smoothed his shirt the way his mother had taught him. You meet important moments neat. He walked to the door and pushed it open, and from somewhere in the back of that clinic, a dog began to cry. Have you ever had a dog who knew you in a way nobody else did? Tell me in the comments. Beth had not brought Sonny out front. She'd left him in the back room on a blanket on the floor, the way you settle an old dog who's had a long and bewildering day. He'd been calm all afternoon, quiet, accepting the kindness of strangers, the way dogs do when they've learned that strangers are sometimes all there is. But the moment that front door opened, he stood up, like something had fired through his spine, like a string had been pulled from somewhere far above him. Beth said later she'd never seen anything like it in her life. He didn't bark, didn't whine, just moved, pushed straight through the half-open backroom door with a purpose that stunned everyone in that hallway. His back legs were stiff, his muzzle was white. He was old, Lord, he was old, but he moved through that clinic like he was 3 years old again, and the whole world had just rearranged itself into one single point. Walter was still 4 steps inside the door when Sonny reached him. He didn't jump, he just pressed himself, his whole body, every ounce of that old tired frame, directly into Walter's legs, and he made a sound, low, deep, not a bark and not a whimper, but something between the two, something that had no name in any language except the one that exists only between a man and his dog. Walter dropped to both knees on that hard linoleum floor. He didn't care. He just went down. 12 years. 12 years, and what Sonny did next will remind you exactly why dogs are not just animals. Walter buried his face in that old golden neck and wept, not the polite kind of crying a man does at funerals when he's trying to hold himself together for everyone else. The real kind, the kind that comes from below words, the kind that sounds like it hurts because it does. That was the thing that broke every person watching. That old dog, tired, thin, 12 years gone, just held still. Like he understood completely. Like he knew Walter needed a minute to put himself together again. And he was going to stand there, right there, and wait for as long as it took. His tail moved, slow and steady, like a metronome keeping time. Beth was crying. The vet tech was crying. A man in the waiting room with a cat carrier set it down and pressed his fingers to his mouth and looked at the ceiling. Walter pulled back finally, took Sonny's white muzzle in both hands, looked at him, really looked, at the gray, at the tired eyes, at the years written all over that beloved face. He said, "I looked for you, boy. I never stopped." Sonny licked his hand once, then leaned his whole head into Walter's chest and closed his eyes. Like he'd been waiting 12 years to do exactly that. Like he'd been holding something carefully inside himself through every stranger's house, every unfamiliar road, every night that wasn't home, and he could finally put it down. Outside, the Tennessee sun finished setting, and inside that small clinic, something that had been broken for 12 years quietly became whole. Walter brought him home on a Wednesday. He spread an old quilt on the passenger seat, a double wedding ring pattern Margaret had made the winter before she got sick, and Sonny rode with his chin resting on Walter's right thigh the entire 60 miles back to Birchwood Road. Every mile of it. Walter kept one hand on the wheel and one hand on that old gold back. He didn't turn the radio on, didn't need to. They sat together on the porch swing that first evening, the one that creaked the same note it always had. The sun went down slow over the tree line the way it does in Tennessee in October, painting everything amber and rose. Walter's tomato garden caught the last of the light and glowed like something from a dream. Sonny pressed against his side, heavy and warm and real. Walter's daughter called that night, cried on the phone for 10 minutes straight. His son drove up the very next weekend with all 4 grandchildren, and the youngest, a 5-year-old named Clara, fell asleep on the living room floor with her small hand resting on Sonny's back. Nobody knew how much time was left, but Walter had learned something in 71 years that he knew down to his bones. Time was never the point. The point was that love, real love, does not lose its way home. It just sometimes takes the long road to get there. And Sonny was finally, completely, irrevocably home. If this story touched your heart, share it, leave a like, and tell us about your dog in the comments. Every single story matters.